Hey everybody, welcome to Chaoctober Week 3. So just first of all, if you haven't seen Week 1 and Week 2, or you don't know what this is, I highly suggest you go watch those two videos, they'll be linked in the description. But for those of you who do know, welcome to Week 3. I'm shocked that I honestly made it here, but we'll see what the rest of the month holds, I'm not quite sure. But I'm glad I pushed through because I am super, super proud of a lot of the works from this week and it's got to be my favorite week so far. I really enjoy how these came out, and they were all quite different too, which I think makes it special. So let's jump right into them. So I know I've normally been ending the weeks with fan art, but this week I begin and end the week with fan art because day 15's prompt was flock, and at first I had a completely different idea, but then I was looking through the prompts and I was like, I need an excuse to draw some Nope fan art, or more specifically, fan art of Jean Jacket. If you haven't seen Nope, recent movie that just came out, Jordan Peele directed, amazing. I think it's the best movie of the year. I've talked about it on Unknown a lot already, but I just needed to draw fan art of it. So that's what you're seeing here. Super, super fun to do this. I really enjoyed it. I love how it came out, and just drawing the different versions of Jean Jacket, as you'll see in a bit. But yeah, the prompt is flock, and there really is only one like big flying alien in that movie called Jean Jacket. But what I end up doing is drawing like her different forms throughout the movie, so it kind of makes it look as if there's like a flock of these aliens. That's just me stretching a prompt just so I can squeeze some fan art of something that I like in this week. So just like day 2 of this month's challenge, this is a redraw of a character or creature that I designed for Chaoctober, which is a similar challenge that I did 2 years ago. And this was just me trying to update them. I felt like I could do them more justice in like this new style that I have, and I really think it came through. I added some more unique design elements and stuff. And I guess I should say that prompt for today is huge because I do imagine this thing is like miles long. Essentially, what it's inspired by is like worm type like dragons, but it can like fly through the vacuum of space like a meteor. So that's kind of what you see in the bottom artwork there from 2 years ago. And then in this version, you'll see later on, I kind of give it like Aztec or like Mayan like motifs and like the way its like face is sculpted, because that's the same sort of area where the giant meteor that hit the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs landed, at that same like geographic location. So I ended up naming this Chicxulub, which I think that's how you pronounce it, but I just wanted to name it after the meteor that, hit the Earth and just caused so much destruction. So I think in the first episode of this series, I talked about how there's other monthly challenges. One of which, it's probably the second most popular to Inktober, is Mermay. Now I have done Mermay. I have a video. I think it was Mermay 2020. I think I have that on this channel, where you're essentially drawing a mermaid every day of May. And in that challenge, I sort of started getting into the spookier territory, basing it off of like some deep sea creatures. And I just wanted another go at that. So it's still spooky, it still fits Chaoctober, but it is a deep sea themed mermaid. And as you can see, I'm using a bunch of different weird deep sea creatures as a reference up there. And I just wanted something that you would just see like floating along super, super still in the ocean. Now, I know just the way this photo is laid out at the moment, like in the time lapse, you can't really make out too many of the details. But I'll just say, once you see the final product at the end, the face is not where you think it is, and I'll just leave you with that. So for day 18's prompt clock, I have a character that I haven't drawn in a long time. I think uh, similar to the previous one in this video, since Apoc-tober a couple years ago. But she's actually pretty integral to the story of all my characters. Her name is Era, and you can see her in the top right there. Scarlet, you may be a bit more familiar with because I have posted her on my Twitter recently. Um, but essentially, they are just two characters that show up alongside Morpheus towards the end, the big final finale of the story. Scarlet, you may already know, but she can basically warp minds, and Era can warp time. So this drawing was originally just going to be Era, but I wanted to throw Scarlet in there too because I didn't really have a prompt planned out for her, and I already did Morpheus for day one. So I wanted to do the two girls together, two girls from another dimension, and I'm really happy with how this came out, and you can really see the clock prompt come in towards the end. All right, so just sorry to begin with the reference image, but I am going to put content warnings before each one of these, just so you know. But yeah, I knew for the prompt herd, I wanted to have some group of like animals out in the field at night, almost as like you were seeing them on like safari. But I wanted them to be like weird and gnarly, and so you'll see that once I finish rendering the ground here. The only thing that I kind of regret is that the word herd kind of like makes you think of a group of prey animals, whereas something like pack might make you think of predators, like I was using in the reference image. So I'm kind of using hyenas as a reference, but I kind of warp them towards the end to look more bovine-like or horse-like, just so it fits the prompt a little bit more. Overall, it's probably my least favorite of the week. It feels a little rushed. I was rushed, and it's something that I can see myself trying to do over. But I'm okay with the final product. It's nothing that I really hate. So the next prompt, house, this has a bit of a story to it. I'm not going to go ahead and explain it here because it's kind of a lot and this video is already longer than I want it to be. But there is a bit more context on my Twitter, so if you aren't over there, I highly suggest you go follow me there, and some of my recent tweets will give you a bit more context. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to base this off of a house that I thought was really pretty but also kind of spooky looking near where I live. And I make it even spookier as this goes on. Um, Also, in real life, this house isn't a frat, but I end up turning it into one because that's part of the story. Just slapping some, Greek letters in the front. Um, and then a familiar character may show up towards the end, but we've got a little bit ways to get to before we see him. But yeah, see if you can spot who it is. Oh, and I should also say that as I was painting this, Scorn came out, and I was watching Germa985 play through it live as I was doing this. So immediately I had like the best reference ever just like given to me, and I was just watching that and using the sort of art design from Scorn, as you see in the reference image there, as sort of a design element for what you're seeing behind those columns. So for our final work of the week, the prompt was Revenant. And if you don't know what that word means, it's essentially like a spirit. I think generally like an evil one that's like come back to haunt or do their bidding or whatever. Um, so you may be wondering, okay, how in the world does that apply to what's being drawn right here? As you saw from week one, I'm a pretty big fan of the Dark Crystal franchise. And one of my favorite characters that's super badass is Skekmal the Hunter from the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. So I had to go ahead and draw him. And this is spoilers for Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, but it explains why I chose him for the prompt. And it's because he does die at the hands of the protagonist um, during the events of the show. Uh, but sort of, kind of, comes back to life. I think she comes back just on the brink of death, or I don't know. It's kept vague, but again, it was just like an excuse to stretch the prompt and draw a really cool looking character. All right, so here's a summary of the entire month so far. I can't believe I've cranked out this much art in this much amount of time. It's kind of insane. I probably wouldn't even be able to do like half of these on a normal month. I don't know what's gotten into me, but I feel it fleeting quickly. So we'll see if I can get through the rest. I really, really do hope so, because it would mean a lot to me personally if I can prove to myself that I can do this. But now that we have so many under our belt, I'd love to hear which one is your favorite in the comments. And of course, um, if you plan on participating, make sure to add the hashtag Chaoctober or Chaoctober22 to your post, or tag me in them. I'd love to see what you make. I'll share it, retweet it, comment. I'd love to see it. I know some of you have already done that, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. No guarantees for week 4. I really hope so. But yeah, again, thank you for watching.